Onward and upward. We are here trying to make the world a better place by doing all the right things. And one thing to do is to feed your brain. How to Feed a Brain: Nutrition for Optimal Brain Function and Repair by Cavin Balaster. We're reading chapter 14, a summary of the Feed a Brain meal plan. Okay, let me see. Congratulations! I am honored that you made it through this entire book. You now have so many of the nutrition. Look at how he's trying to end the book. You have no, I mean, it means there's so much more to say, and it's hard to say it. Anyway, he's going to say it. You now have so many of the nutritional tools that I use, that's Cavin Balaster, to help me to reclaim my brain by reducing brain inflammation and supplying the nutrients needed for the brain to repair and function optimally. Now it's time to put it all to use. I can imagine that you may feel overwhelmed right now. All of the changes that you'll need to make to optimally feed your brain probably seem intimidating. I get it. This is a load of information to implement. The good news is that we don't need to implement it all at once. We can take it one step at a time. We can start by ridding our homes of the foods that we want to avoid or eliminate. That will drastically limit our exposure to the foods that do not substantially support our brain health. Right there is no chips, no gummy bears, no cookies, no cakes, not normally in the house. I started to chew chewing gum, but I can't stand the chewing gum that they have right now. Okay, back to Cavin Balaster. We can begin to supplement some of the superfoods, the nutrients for synaptogenesis, compounds to support ketogenic metabolism, and supplements to quell brain inflammation. We can start to batch cook the sulfur and colored produce and to add them to some leafy greens with meats. We can make soups, salads, and smoothies that supply much of the produce, fat, and meat that our brains need for optimal function and repair. I also offer one-on-one consultations at feedabrain.com/consult, and we are creating courses and other resources at feedabrain.com/education. Now, this man has a lot. Hello, Aran Havedia. Feed a Brain. Is that Armenian by any chance? Or, oh, anyway. Feed a Brain review. To recap, let's go over some of the key points and some tools that will make this meal plan realistic and effective. The outs: remove or reduce processed foods, fast foods, and soda. Even diet soda, sparkling water is okay. Remove or reduce refined sugar like white and brown sugar. Hi, Diane Dog Mom. How are you? Remove or reduce high fructose corn syrup. Remove or reduce additives, artificial sweeteners, and MSG. Remove or reduce all vegetable oils like canola, soybean, corn, and grapeseed. See the Guide to Fats and Oils handout. Remove or reduce grains. Corn is a grain and is often genetically modified. Limit starchy vegetables and high glycemic fruits. Remove or reduce squeezed juice, not a whole food because the fibrous pulp has been discarded. Yeah, squeezed juice is no longer whole food. Avoid, he says, avoid all artificial trans fat, including hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated oil. Remove milk and wheat products. The ends: eat plenty, amount dependent on weight, size, sex, and activity level, of whole fruits and vegetables divided evenly between leafy greens, colored, and sulfur containing. Get a high quality blender for easy meals, smoothies, or for gastric feeds. Feedabrain.com/tools. Make bone broth and incorporate it into your diet regularly. Feedabrain.com/broth. Get us, he's got A to Z on feedabrain.com. Get a slow cooker or a pressure cooker to make this much easier. Feedabrain.com/tools. Stay adequately hydrated. Feedabrain.com/hydration. Heal your gut. Feedabrain.com/digestion. I know, right? It's great. Get your blood sugar under control. Hi, Keith O'Keefe. Feedabrain.com/blood sugar. Include adequate, complete proteins, amount dependent on weight, size, sex, and activity level. Because if you don't move around a lot, you really shouldn't eat a lot. Feedabrain.com/meat. Eat plenty of high quality fats, oils, cook with the right kinds of fats or oils, and remove bad fats or oils from the diet. See the guide to fats and oils handout. Feedabrain.com/fat. Thank you for the lovely compliment, Clover. Supply superfoods. Feedabrain.com/superfood. Organ meats. The easiest option is to supplement with desiccated organ meat capsules. Feedabrain.com/superfood. Get organ meats from feedabrain.com/meat. Fermented foods. The easiest option is to supplement with probiotics. Feedabrain.com/superfood. Sea vegetables, SEAC vegetables. The easiest option is to alternate between kelp supplements and dulse supplements. DULSE. Feedabrain.com/superfood. Cold water fatty fish. Feedabrain.com/fish. The easiest option is to supplement with one of the fish oils at feedabrain.com/omega. Supply nutrients for synaptogenesis. Feedabrain.com/synaptogenesis. Supply nutrients for synaptogenesis. Feedabrain.com/synapto. Choline, CHOLINE. Regularly consume organ meats and or egg yolks as well as supplemental citicoline, CITICOLINE. Feedabrain.com/synapto. SYNAPTO. DHA. Eat cold water fatty fish. Feedabrain.com/fish. While also supplementing with recommended fish oils. Feedabrain.com/omega. Vegan source of DHA. Feedabrain.com/vegan. Supplement with liquid fish oils. Feedabrain.com/omega. Uridine, URIDINE. We can get uridine through organ meats, broccoli, beets, and other foods, but we want to also supplement uridine monophosphate. Dr. Wortman, WURTMAN, points out that out of the three nutrients for synaptogenesis, uridine is only found in human breast milk, which is not really available to adults. Feedabrain.com/synapto. Feeding a brain for real. I know that I have a much easier time doing anything after seeing how it's done. That is why I'm including many actual meals that I have had. These are captions adapted from my @feedabrain.com Instagram posts. You can go to feedabrain.com/eats to see what I'm recently eating, and in the comments of a particular dish, you can post your comments and questions. I will also be posting recipes in feedabrain.com/recipes. Breakfast at a dinner restaurant. All side dishes, sausage, bacon, mixed veggies, and avocado. Lunch at a restaurant. Grilled chicken over a bed of romaine lettuce with tomatoes, pepitas, pumpkin seeds, and corn relish dressed with olive oil and an herb dressing. And of course, a side of bacon. Dinner, half of a grass-fed beef hamburger patty and hot wings, but no bun, no ketchup, and no ranch dressing, and served on a bed of greens with onions, tomatoes, avocado, and mustard. Maybe I should read more slowly so I don't keep on stumbling over words. Breakfast, wild caught sockeye salmon pan. That doesn't work. Might as well read it at the same speed. Might as well. Breakfast, wild caught sockeye salmon pan seared with ghee, Ghee, served with sauteed beet greens, roasted beets, and green onions. Lunch, pasture raised chicken quarters sauteed with ghee and tarragon, served with sauteed turnip greens, yellow and green onions, green olives, and garlic. Dinner is my favorite meal to eat, a vegan feed a brain style meal, especially after having a meat heavy breakfast and lunch. Mixed greens, including arugula, fermented ginger beets, fresh tomatoes, and scallions, and half an avocado dressed with olive oil and lemon juice. Oh my gosh, I've made stuff like that before. Breakfast without using a cutting board. Smoked salmon on top of mixed greens topped with green onions cut with scissors and olive oil. You know those scissors that do 10 at a time? Plus a morning golden globe latte made with full fat coconut milk, ghee, mango, and turmeric, blended and topped with a sprinkle of black pepper. Wow, this man eats fancy. Lunch smoothie. Kale and honeydew melon blended with water, mint, and coconut oil. That's a smoothie. Dinner, wild caught salmon pan seared with ghee, served on a bed of greens, topped with grilled asparagus, onions, garlic, and basil, surrounded by organic nectarine slices. Wow. Breakfast, homemade Texas chili, no beans, over greens with sliced radishes, green onions, avocado, and avocado oil. What's chili without beans? Tell me, somebody. Lunch, romaine lettuce topped with turkey and pork sausage, roasted beets, fresh onions, and watermelon. Ooh. Heavily dressed with extra virgin olive oil. Fancy surf dinner, tarragon infused, quote, melt in your mouth, end quote, scallops, and wild caught sockeye salmon, both pan seared with grass fed ghee, served over a salad of mixed greens and fresh basil with sliced avocado, minced green onions, grape tomatoes, and sauteed sweet yellow onion, dressed with olive oil and a fermented ginger beet juice. That this much left. Breakfast. Leftover salmon from last night on top of a chopped artisan frisee, Frisee. The first E has an accented U over it. Frisee salad with red onions, capers, and olive oil. Morning beverage. A high quality protein powder, not soy, whey, or casein powder. Casein. Dark chocolate, high percentage cacao, avocado oil, and hot water blended and topped with a sprinkle of salt. See feedabrain.com/pantry for good protein powder options. Now, when you put a little bit of salt, your tongue looks for sweet. That's how come people put a little bit of salt in, industrial sweet stuff. Lunch. Green tango lettuce topped with roasted beets and carrots, topped with ground pork and turkey with chopped red onions, sauce, sauerkraut from a jar, and green onions. He admits something's from a jar. Finally, something's from a jar. Nothing else was from a jar. Jars. Okay, never mind. Dinner. Wild Alaskan sockeye salmon on a bed of kale. Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and green and red cabbage, and sauteed with minced garlic, olive oil, and served with sliced white peaches. Ooh, that's good. Breakfast, wild caught canned tuna over mixed greens, topped with a handful of mirepoix, Mirepoix, chopped onions, carrots, and celery. That's what that is. Dressed with avocado oil. Lunch, Feeder Brain tacos, chopped al pastor street taco meat, pork with onions and cilantro, served on collard green leaves instead of tortilla. Collard greens. Lunch coffee, Decaf coffee, blended with avocado oil until creamy and sprinkled with a dash of cinnamon. Never done that before. Dinner smoothie, mixed frozen berries, mixed greens, and full fat coconut milk. Never done that before either. A final word from Cavin in this chapter. I hope you've enjoyed this book as much as I loved writing it. I can't tell you how much it means to me to be able to share these tools and to move forward with my mission to pay my fortune forward by sharing what I have found to be especially helpful. Progress, not perfection. I know that implementing these changes is not exactly easy. As I studied after my injury, I could see that I absolutely needed to make these dietary changes if I were to give my brain the best shot at recovery. Now, this gentleman had, like, he couldn't talk, he couldn't walk, his arm was stuck a certain way. He couldn't play the guitar for a long time because he used to play a guitar. Golly, he says, perhaps you are in that place now. I created this book to be the guide and resource that I wish I had. Knowing what will support neurological recovery can help us to make incremental changes towards better brain health. This is not about perfection. I don't get all of my fruits and veggies every single day, but I try to get close. I didn't start on the sea vegetables or organ meats for years, and I'm not perfect with my supplementation and nutrient intake. I never gave up when I slipped, and I have found some pretty cool tricks to supply these nutrients regularly. Remember that the bottom line is this: the healthiest thing we can do for our brains, bodies, and souls is to enjoy our life and to do so sustainably. If you have an extra minute, you now have the tools to build something life changing. If you have an extra minute, I would love to hear what you think about this book. Please leave a review on Amazon.com. And if you'd rather reach out in private, you can contact us at feedabrain.com/contact. We try to read each and every comment and email, so come and say hi. You can find more free content on feedabrain.com, the Adventures in Brain Injury podcast, and on YouTube. If you haven't already, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest at Feed a Brain and at Cavin B, and like the Feed a Brain Facebook page. Thanks again. I wish you the best of health, recovery, and success, he says. Now, what I know is that his sitemap must be crazy big because he's got so many last words, in the URLs. Anyway, that was chapter 14. I hope you have a great day. This is the kind of thing I want everybody to do because it makes the world a better place. If you feed your brain, you get more everything else. If you don't feed your brain, if you want to live longer, I think you ought to feed your brain. Okay? Old Kinderheck.